at the Chadwick Wildlife Preserve, so I'm on the other side of the creek here. I had to go and cross the Ridley Creek via the road to get over here. Now this is in a residential neighborhood. It actually kind of feels like you're going through somebody's backyard, but you'll see the marker for the preserve. There's like a stone marker, and it's very clear like what's the path and what's someone's yard. And I just parked on the street in the residential neighborhood. Doesn't seem like there is any issues with that, but if you come here, there's not going to be like a big parking lot or anything like that, so just keep that in mind. So this is 13 acres. This land was given by Wallace Chadwick, who was a local politician, and he donated the land here. But once again, just so grateful for people like that who give what they have to share with other people and allow people to enjoy nature like this. So this area is called Long Point, and it's because of the bend in Ridley Creek. This is actually a 180-degree bend in the Ridley Creek, which is pretty interesting. So there are ruins of boathouses that you can find in this area, and there are stories of like a canoeing club and things like that. So this has a rich history of people coming here to enjoy the outdoors and boating in this section and things like that. And then what I'm actually walking on right now, this is super interesting. This is the Great Minquas Path, and this is a very famous footpath, and I believe this goes through Philadelphia, Delaware counties, Chester County. Famous footpath was used by the Native Americans. It was used by the Swedish and the Dutch settlers, and it ran from Philadelphia up to like the Lancaster area. So fur traders, all kinds of trading from the very first settlers and the Native Americans. And it has, legend says that even William Penn walked on this path. So really cool to be able to traverse a path that so many people used so many years ago. A path that's been used probably for thousands of years. Definitely on this side a little more overgrown. I'm going to show you. So here is some additional information about the Susquehannock Path. So the 17th century trade route crossed Ridley Creek near this point. It ran 80 miles from the palisaded towns of Susquehannock Nation along the lower Susquehanna, the Lenape Nation, to the Schuylkill near its confluence with the Delaware. The Susquehannock used to trade beaver pelts first with the Dutch, then with the Swedish, then English merchants for metal, tools, and cookware. Rose Valley's remnant of the Great Minquas Path is still a reminder of our forebears on this land, the Lenape, whose members still have a vibrant presence here as the Lenape Nation of Pennsylvania and the Susquehannock, whose voices are lost to history. And then we've got an illustration here of a Susquehannock man in a bearskin mantle with a bow and club from John Smith's 1624 map of Virginia, which included present-day Maryland, Delaware, and Pennsylvania. Following this LP path here. Pennsylvania is just such an amazing state. We have such cool history here and so many beautiful places to explore. So let's look at the creek here. You can see down here you've got that sandy soil that you often find near the creek. All kinds of different shiny rocks and things here. You can kind of see just how deep that section of the creek is, where it kind of goes in there, and you've got the deeper section, and then closer to the shoreline it's shallow. As you walk along the creek area, you do see like there's a brick kind of old structure there, and perhaps there are some of the remnants of, they said, like the boating and the different clubs and things that were along this creek at one time. All right, so I think we will take this empty. We'll go this way. All right, keeping it real here. I'm completely lost. Like I said, the trails are not wonderfully maintained. There's just a lot of leaves on the ground, and I really can't tell which way to go. So I guess we're going to backtrack the way we came, because I'll show you, there's just like no sign of a trail. So we started there, and I assume we were gonna go up, but I just don't see anything that looks obvious. So where we were just at by that creek section where I showed you the sand, that was called Long Point. And then that's considered a point bar, which is like a deposit of gravel, sand, rock. So that's why that looks a little different from your normal creek bed. Pretty cool big rock formation here. It's kind of hard to see, but pretty neat. I love when you see all the different plants. There's honeysuckle growing out of it. There's some ferns down here, all different types of plant life, as well as mosses and things growing on the rock too. So they have some deer enclosures here. These are pretty popular in the parks near here, where they're doing studies on, you know, what happens if they keep the deer out of a particular area. Ooh, look at this. Pretty cool. And then way down there you can hear the roar of the creek. Got the mountain laurel blooming there. Maybe someone did some foraging in the creek bed, found some old pottery. This is the kind of stuff that I feel belongs to stay in the park. This is not mine to take. It's part of the history of, you know, who was here before us and things like that. But really pretty cool looking. You can just see all the different pieces of pottery. Someone must have found a lot of these in the creek bed. These are pretty cool rocks here. All right, so here is the remains. So you can see it's been restored and remortared, but it's still really cool that this is here. And I can't imagine what it would have been like. So you've got a fireplace on this side, and then look at that view, that creek view there. And I just love it when pieces of our history are preserved and remained. It would be awesome if the whole cabin was here, but it's really cool that at least the chimney still stands. And it really makes you wonder, what would life have been like back then in the 1900s? What would it have been like to be in that Seekers of Knowledge group? Mountain laurel blooms. All right, so this is your reminder to not overlook Delaware County, Pennsylvania when you're looking for hikes or interesting places to visit. I definitely highly recommend checking out this preserve. And then if you check out my previous video, check out the Saw Preserve as well. These are both beautiful little spots. So I have to say, sometimes I'm a little bit hard on myself because I'm like, you know, I feel like everybody's going to these parks and all these amazing places in the state. And I feel like, I don't know, lately my life has been so busy with my daughter graduating, everything at home, and I just don't have the time to go far at this point in my life. And I know that as soon as my daughter's off to college in the fall, things are gonna change and I'm gonna have a lot more free time, which is my son at home. But for now, it's just so busy. And sometimes I'm like, sometimes I put like an internal pressure on myself, like that I need to show you these amazing places, or that all you wanna see are state parks and things like that. And I come out to these local trails and I'm always like in awe. I find the coolest stuff, and I have to just remind myself that it doesn't always have to be a famous spot or a popular state park, and that there's beauty and there's spaces worth exploring everywhere. So I'm sure all of you know that. I need to remind myself that, because as a content creator, I tend to be a little hard on myself. I want to just bring you like the best. And yeah, this is just a good reminder for me. There are cool places everywhere, pretty much. So my camera is about to die, but thank you so much for coming along with me. Thank you for watching. Let me know if you like this, if you thought it was cool to see that old stone chimney. But yeah, it's been great having you come along with me today. Thanks for watching, guys.